Alright, this is our introduction video, and we are going to be talking about 9/11, and we're going to be talking about the things that actually did occur at 9/11. And the purpose of this video is to educate people to the truth of the events of that day. We don't do this video to encourage anybody to go out and shoot anybody. We don't do this video to encourage anybody to take any kind of crazy, violent action toward any group of culture, anywhere, or at any given time. We don't do this to encourage the military or to encourage governments or to encourage anything that would be of a negative base. We do this to educate. We do this to free the minds of the people that have been brainwashed about that day. And we do this to confront a real threat to all the human race, and that needs to be addressed in a very potent manner. Okay, so first aspect we're going to talk about are the planes. And one thing you have to understand about the planes that supposedly hit us on 9/11 is that they were not actual planes. One thing that we've covered about fallen angels is that they have the ability to morph. And this morphing ability gave them the ability to shapeshift their image to look like a plane. But if you take a really good look as the plane crashes into the building, it starts to morph itself into the building. And what it's doing is that it's flowing into the building. It's not crashing into the building. It's basically using an ability like a ghost does running through a wall and then blowing up the building when it manifests itself inside the wall. You don't see the plane literally crashing into that building. You don't see debris of the airplane falling everywhere. You don't see pieces of it everywhere. You see a plane who slips its body halfway through the building before it actually explodes. So what do we know that actually does that? Ghosts do that. Ghosts have the ability to do that. Demons have the ability to do that. Demons do just that. They can run through an object, and they can even destroy the object using this ability. How are they doing that? I don't know. They are spiritual beings with powers beyond our abilities and beyond our understanding. So what I'm doing is breaking down what those powers are exactly. And one of those powers is that they can project themselves and turn themselves into any shape, into any form. And when they do that, they can also run in to solid objects and implode those objects. And that's exactly what this demon is doing with this building. This demon has morphed itself into a plane, and what it's doing is that it's going to manifest itself into the building and then implode itself with devastating force to bring solid matter completely down. And that's exactly what this entity did. And it's a shocking thing. And but it's a reality that you really have to wrap your head around, because the more and more you keep thinking that it's airplanes that hit you and not actual beings, you're only going to deceive yourself. You're only going to help out the powers that be to continue to deceive you. You have to really start wrapping your head around certain things. That when we talk about beings transforming, and when we did these videos, we were talking about something very real. And so we have more fake footage of the plane, and this is showing and we have a footage of an entire plane literally just disintegrating into the air, and then we see like kind of another object flowing with it. And what we have here is that once the plane hits, you notice this little small object that's tailing the being as it's transforming. And so what we have here is, first off, the plane is dark. If you ever notice that it looks like a big black shadow in an atmosphere full of light, which is really weird. And second of all, you notice the UFO that's tailing the plane. It's not actually tailing the plane. It actually came from the plane. It was a piece of that being literally being released. And so, like I said, don't know why exactly it did that or what's its capability in terms of that, but that's exactly what it did. And so we have other footage showing that the plane clearly was a hologram, and in terms of the fact that it was a being transforming itself to look like something that it wasn't, which listed as a hologram. But it isn't the type of hologram that we would know as being a total fake object. It was a real entity looking like a plane. And basically what it did was it crashed itself right into the building. We have footage of the plane having an entire missing wing upon this footage. There's other footage showing that the plane was morphing, and that it's basically a fallen spiritual entity morphing itself into a black shadow, into a plane, and footage showing then that as soon as it, transferred itself into the building and ends up blowing up. And other footage is basically showing you that. If you look very closely at this, you'll notice that there's absolutely no plane, because this is one of the light sources that the fallen angels were not able to manipulate. And so what you're looking at there is the actual entity itself imploding into the building. Just take a very good look at it. You notice that there's nothing in the sky. There's no plane. You don't see it, and then bam. And what you're seeing right there basically is what I'm trying to get to you. You see this entity coming, but you don't see a plane, but you do see what you would know as a UFO, a demonic spirit, actually attacking the building. And the reason why so many people saw a plane, like I said, is that demons have the ability to manipulate light sources, which are cameras. They'll manipulate those sources to make it look like you saw a plane, but they can't manipulate every light source, and some sources caught the real event. What you're seeing there is an actual fallen spirit coming out of a dimension and attacking the World Trade Center in New York City. What the government did in terms of covering it up is that they set up the demo charges because they knew the fallen angels were going to attack those areas. The demo charges were set up to cover up the actual attack and what really happened to us that day. And so you got to really wrap your mind around that, because the more and more you refuse to see that, the more and more that's really going to affect you in the long run. And so what we have is more and more footage, because we want to really reiterate this to you. We want to grain this into your mind, because we know what the media did to your mind in terms of how they got you thinking about this attack. The fact is, nobody on the ground floor of 9/11, actually nobody saw an airplane, to tell you the truth. And the ones that did described it as being a huge black shadow. Take a look at the attack on the Pentagon. Take a very good look at this. You see it? Does that look like an airplane to you? That was not an airplane. That's also another fallen angel. And what that fallen angel did is that he attacked the center base of the Pentagon. And by doing the same thing that his other fallen angel buddies were doing over in New York City, he morphed himself into this being and then basically flowed himself like a ghost, phased into the building, and imploded the building with his power. And what you have to notice is so many things about the Pentagon. What makes you think that anybody with an airplane as big as the 747 is going to make their way to the Pentagon to actually crash into it? That's not going to happen. It would have been shot down miles before it ever even got there. And let's be stupid for a minute and actually think that a plane crashed into it. The explosion width of that building did not match the width that a 747 would have done to the Pentagon. If the 747 crashed into the Pentagon, there would have been no Pentagon at all. That whole building would have came down. It would have all been incinerated. But only the front middle portion of the building was imploded. Everything else remained intact. I don't think so, people. Use your geometry on that. Use your common sense on that, and you'll figure it out. That's not possible. And so the footage actually showed a real entity. And I don't know how many people seen that footage of the Pentagon. That's another footage that's been buried. And so here we have another footage here. We have an entire wing missing from this plane. Take a very good look at that. This is another light source that the fallen angels try to manipulate, but they weren't too successful in this one. A whole plane wing is missing. Where's the wing to this plane? If you take a very good look at that, you'll start to understand what I'm talking about here. Here's the plane again, and also you notice how black the plane is. That plane is pitch black, people, and that doesn't make any sense for a plane to be in an atmosphere of light to be pitch black like that. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. And if you take a very good look at it, you notice that now it's missing a whole other wing. And so this is to show you that this is an actual being just morphing out. And it could not get successfully every light source to manipulate the illusion. Sometimes some of these light sources just couldn't capture what the fallen angels wanted captured, and so a lot of truth was getting leaked out, and so but that's what you have with the overview of this. You got beings attacking us that day, man, and they attacked us very deceitfully, very cleverly, and very manipulatively. This was actually fulfillment of prophecy as well. The Bible predicted that these attacks were coming, and that these attacks would be perpetrated by the fallen angels themselves. And that was the first stage of it, 9/11. We were attacked by fallen angels. And the Bible told us that's exactly what was going to happen. And the Bible told us that they were going to hit us in a deceptive way, that a great deception was going to come down on us, then we were going to get hit. And so if you really factor those 2 points in, what does that tell you? That these things were going to attack us very cleverly, very deceitfully, even make us think that they had nothing to do with it, when clear evidence shows you that not only did they have something to do with it, they perpetrated it. They actually were the ones who literally killed us that day. These are actually fallen angels, as you would know them as transformers, killing human beings. There's nothing good about these entities. Good angels don't do this. Good angels will never do this. This is murder. You're looking at murder. When Jesus said that Satan was a murderer from the beginning, what do you think he was talking about, man? He kills people. He literally kills them. Take a very good look at this. We have footage after footage of fallen angels, not just appearing in UFOs and look at the dazzling light people. They kill people, man. You got to keep that in mind. You got to wrap that around your head. In abductions, not every one of those people come back home, and when they do, they're never the same again. You got people showing up in body parts. Here's this so-called plane literally phasing into the building before it explodes. Phasing into the building before it explodes. What matter phases into something before it explodes? That tells you that it's not possible under the type of matter or science that we know. But in spiritual understanding, in the spiritual world, and what the Bible talks about, that's very, very possible, and that's exactly what we see. There are many times that ghosts set buildings on fire. People often wonder how a ghost can set a building on fire. Well, take a very good look. This is how they set things on fire. Sometimes ghosts will use their power to implode something when they phase through it. And sometimes they set buildings on fire. They'll even blow buildings up by doing this. And that's what you had in terms of 9/11, is the fact that these entities were basically told their rulers that what they were going to do, and our rulers set us up to make us think that terrorists attacked us, when it was actually their masters, their rulers, the ones who rule them, being the ones who are actually physically attacking us. And so you didn't see George Bush bring a call to arms to, get faith in Jesus Christ and be on guard against spiritual beings. No, we went and killed people across the ocean who had absolutely nothing to do with this. We sent thousands and thousands and thousands of young people to their deaths over a spiritual matter that they had no idea what was going on. They bought the story of the media and bought the professional story of all that other garbage that these people feed them with day in and day out from men, incompetent men who can't even believe in their own Lord. Okay, so what we got are satanic demons. Like right after they attacked us, we have satanic demons. They began morphosizing themselves in the smoke of the fires. And so what we have here is that once these demons hit us, they started to materialize or show themselves through these explosions. And so what we have here is that demons are able to manifest themselves in the elements. And so what happened is that when they hit us, when they attacked us, they began to metamorphosize themselves within the smoke. And so what you're looking at here are actual fallen angels inside the smoke. And you're seeing another one here at the lower end of the corner. What you got to wrap your head around the fact is that the 9/11 attack was basically perpetrated by our government. Our government basically got together with Satan, his demons, and basically planned this attack against us. And what they did is that these fallen angels planned this attack. They came up with the idea for this attack to basically attack us and confuse us and make us think that something else was going on other than what was really happening. And but you got to wrap your head around the fact that we're getting hit and destroyed by these beings due to our unfaithfulness and our lack of knowledge about them. You're going to church every day reading about the Bible and studying about fallen angels, and yet you walk out of this church not believing that they're real. How can that be? That tells me that there is a great deception that has come down upon people, and this deception is so bad that it's got us turning against each other when we're actually being attacked by beings like this who are doing the actual attacking, who are actually killing us, who are actually doing these things, and we're turning on each other while they're doing it. We're doing them a favor to them. We are doing their job. We're killing each other over what they're doing to us. And our government knows about that and are laughing about that. These demons were appearing and laughing about that, looking down on the people, smiling in glee at the fact that they have literally ripped into us and destroyed us. Take a very good look at it. This is the real reason a lot of people started running at Ground Zero. It had a lot to do with the fire, smoke, and flame, yes. But at the same time, you have to listen to their testimony about what they talked about. They said that there were real demons that they saw in that smoke, and it terrified them, and they started to break, and they started to run. They saw destruction, fire, flames, and death. No airplanes, no crashes, but the faces of these demons. They saw what they would call as UFOs, and then explosions, and then these demonic faces appearing in the smoke and the flames. And what these demons are doing is that they are materializing themselves in the element because they are feeding on the death and the fear and the blood that they have generated. And if you take a very good look at this is more of that. What the government did is that they knew the fallen angels were going to hit these buildings, and what they did was they set up demo charges to implode the buildings to cover up that attack, because you will come to find out that there's no evidence of an airplane, there's no airplane debris, there's no black boxes, and there's no victims. All you have are demons in the smoke, fire, blood, and death, fear, deception, and confusion from a world that has completely turned on Jesus Christ because they're too busy worshiping the very thing that's attacking and destroying them. And so you got to start wrapping your mind around that. You got to start getting your mind around the fact that you are being attacked by living spiritual entities. That's what the Bible calls it. The Bible calls them fallen angels. And from the beginning, they have been at war with the souls of the human race. Jesus called Satan a murderer from the beginning. He said that from the beginning this guy was aimed at killing the human race, and he is not above doing the actual killing himself. When he kills the human race, he does it in a very deceitful way, and he does it so deceitfully that you will honestly think that other people are responsible for his own actions. He's that clever. He's smart. He works with the rulers to get the rulers to work against their own citizens so they can plan attacks like this, so you can go ahead and send thousands and thousands of troops to another country to kill, to destroy, to rape, and pillage another people who did not attack you. And that's what you got to wrap your head around that. When these people were supporting U.S. military actions in Iraq, what were they supporting? They never attacked us. What were they really talking about? They're talking about killing other people that had nothing to do with it. They were responsible for what happened that day. The fallen angels were responsible for what happened that day. We should have been attacking them in that text and understanding. I don't agree in attacking anybody, but I think you get my point. The measure you use is used against you. And these fallen angels, take a very good look. These beings were once very beautiful, gorgeous. They used to hold high places in heaven. They fell from heaven due to their pride, due to their deceit, due to their sin. And that's the same thing that's happening to Americans and people around the world. They're falling due to their pride, due to their deceit, due to their lack of faith. And because of that, these angels who fell first, and know that is a fact, that when you rebel against God, Jesus Christ, you allow them to destroy you. And that's exactly what they did. And this is real. And you got to wrap your mind around that. You got to wrap your mind around the fact these are real demons blowing you up and killing you and laughing about it and appearing in the smoke and being very, very happy about the fact they have destroyed us and hit us. All the evidence points to a spiritual attack. It does not point to the media's cracked out version of what happened. We're going to now start to wrap this up, and we want to make everything very, very clear. You were attacked by fallen angels. These fallen angels are real. They appeared in the smoke. They appeared in the flames. They fed off the blood of human beings. So now that I've shown the footage of this, now that I've shown you the truth of this, I want you to just really wrap your head around this message that I'm going to bring to you right now. Don't trust anything this government tells you, because they lie. They lie through their teeth. Don't trust the media, because they're also lying through their teeth. You have to trust only Jesus Christ himself. And you got to take the Bible as real, because the fact is the Illuminati wants you to think the Bible is not real. They want you to think that Jesus is the way they defy him, to cover up the fact that the Bible is not only true and real, it applies to real human life. There are prophecies that have to be fulfilled. These prophecies involve fallen angels destroying us using the great deception that came down on us. Your government is in league with fallen angels. You have got to wrap your mind around that and realize, what does the Bible say? Does the Bible say that we war against other human beings? That we go out and pick up guns and kill people? No, 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 no. It says that we war not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces, demonic places in high places. And those beings were the ones who attacked us. God bless you all. Good night, and do not let fear rule the day or the night in your life.